William is gone, and this time, it doesn't feel like one of his impulsive decisions, it feels dangerous. The trailer for Outlander Season 8 Episode 8 doesn't just hint at trouble, it screams it. There's tension in every frame, urgency in every line, and a growing sense that something is about to go very wrong. The question isn't just where is William, it's who will find him first, and will they be too late? Section 1. This episode is clearly setting up a turning point, and everything revolves around William's sudden disappearance. What makes this situation feel different from anything we've seen before is the timing. William is already emotionally unstable. Ever since he found out the truth about his real father, he hasn't been thinking clearly. Every decision he's made lately has been driven by anger, confusion, and pride. And now, with him missing, all of that becomes a serious problem. Because William isn't just lost, he's vulnerable. The trailer shows a clear shift in tone. There's urgency, fear, and a sense that people are starting to realize this isn't something that will resolve itself. Amaranthus looks genuinely worried, and that alone says a lot. She's not someone who panics easily, so seeing her concerned immediately tells us that something is wrong on a deeper level. This isn't just William needing space, this is something far more serious. At the same time, you can't ignore everything that's been building up around him. William has been under constant emotional pressure. First, the truth about Jamie completely shattered his identity. Then there's the complicated situation with Lord John, which only added more tension, and on top of that, his relationship with Amaranthus and the reaction from others, especially Ben, has only made things worse. It feels like everything in his life has been collapsing at once. So when someone like William disappears in that state of mind, it's not just concerning, it's dangerous. And the trailer leans heavily into that idea. There's this underlying feeling that William might have walked straight into something he doesn't fully understand. Whether it's the war, enemies, or simply the consequences of his own actions, it feels like he's in over his head. He's been trying to prove himself, trying to take control of his life, but this could be the moment where everything spirals. Another important detail is how the people around him react. Because this isn't just about William anymore, it's about what his disappearance forces others to do, especially Lord John and Jamie. Up until now, their relationship has been strained, complicated, and filled with unspoken tension. But this situation might push them into working together whether they're ready for it or not. And that's where things get really interesting. Because if William is truly in danger, there's no time for pride or resentment. Decisions will have to be made quickly. And for the first time, both Jamie and Lord John might have to confront the reality that they're connected in a way neither of them can ignore, through William. But here's the bigger question. What kind of danger are we actually talking about? Is William being hunted? Did he run into the wrong people? Or is this something even more personal? The trailer doesn't give a clear answer, and that's what makes it so effective. It leaves just enough uncertainty to make you question everything. And knowing this show, things are rarely as simple as they seem. There's always another layer, another twist waiting to unfold. What's clear, though, is that this storyline is about to escalate quickly. The calm before the storm is over, and whatever happens next is going to test these characters in ways we haven't seen before. And if William really is in danger, then this might be the moment that changes everything. What makes this situation even more intense is the possibility that William didn't just disappear randomly, he might have been forced into it, or worse, taken. And if that's the case, then everything we thought we understood about this storyline completely changes. Because now, it's not just about finding him, it's about saving him. The trailer subtly hints at this shift. There's a sense of urgency that feels too strong for someone who simply ran off. People aren't just confused, they're alarmed. And when characters in this show start reacting like that, it usually means something serious is unfolding behind the scenes. One of the biggest clues here is Ben. We already know he didn't take the situation with William and Amaranthus well. In fact, his reaction felt a lot more intense than it needed to be, which raises a question: how far is he willing to go? If he sees William as a problem, or even as a threat, then it's not hard to imagine him taking matters into his own hands. And if that's true, then William could be walking straight into a trap without even realizing it. At the same time, there's also the larger backdrop of war. This isn't a peaceful environment where someone can just disappear and be found easily. There are soldiers, shifting alliances, and constant danger everywhere. If William has ended up in the wrong place at the wrong time, then his situation could escalate very quickly. He's not just dealing with personal conflict anymore, he's surrounded by real, physical threats. And that's what makes this so unpredictable, because William is still trying to prove himself. He wants to be seen as capable, as someone who can handle responsibility. But that mindset can be dangerous when it leads to reckless decisions. If he thinks he can handle whatever situation he's in, he might not even realize how serious things have become until it's too late. Meanwhile, the people searching for him are likely starting to piece things together. And this is where the emotional weight of the story really starts to build. Because for Jamie, this isn't just about finding a missing person, it's about his son. A son he hasn't been able to fully connect with, a relationship that's still fragile and unresolved. This could be his chance to change that. But it also comes with a risk. If Jamie steps in now, it could either bring them closer, or push William even further away. Especially if William feels like he's being controlled or rescued against his will. Their relationship has always been complicated, and this situation only adds more pressure to it. And then there's Lord John. Up until now, he's tried to remain calm and composed, even when William has been pushing him away. But this might be the moment where that changes. Because if William is truly in danger, Lord John won't hesitate. He's always cared deeply for him, and this could push him to act in ways we haven't seen before. What makes this even more compelling is the possibility that Jamie and Lord John might have to work together. Not because they want to, but because they have no choice. And if that happens, it could completely shift their dynamic. For so long, there's been tension, unspoken feelings, and a sense of distance between them. But in a situation like this, all of that becomes secondary. The only thing that matters is finding William. Still, the biggest mystery remains, what exactly has William gotten himself into? The trailer keeps that part intentionally vague, and that's what builds the suspense. It's not just about where he is, but what's waiting for him. And if the show is setting up a major twist here, then there's a strong chance that William's disappearance is only the beginning of something much bigger. Something that could affect everyone involved. Because in a story like this, one person going missing is never just a single event, it's the start of a chain reaction. And once it begins, there's no stopping it. At the same time, this storyline isn't just about physical danger, it's also about William reaching a breaking point. Because if you really think about everything he's been through lately, it feels like he's been slowly losing control piece by piece. And now, being out there on his own, possibly surrounded by enemies or in a situation he doesn't fully understand, that emotional instability could become his biggest weakness. William has always been proud. He carries himself like someone who needs to prove his worth, someone who refuses to back down even when he probably should. And normally, that kind of determination can be seen as strength. But in a situation like this, it can just as easily turn into recklessness. If he believes he can handle whatever he's facing, he might take risks that put him even deeper into danger. And that's where things start to feel really tense. Because the trailer gives off this sense that William is isolated, not just physically, but emotionally as well. He doesn't fully trust Jamie. His relationship with Lord John is strained. And even the people around him, like Amaranthus, are part of a situation he hasn't fully processed yet. So if something goes wrong, he may not even know who to turn to. That isolation makes everything more unpredictable. There's also the possibility that William's disappearance isn't entirely accidental. What if he chose to leave because he felt like he didn't belong anymore? That would fit perfectly with his current state of mind. He's been questioning his identity, struggling with who he really is, and trying to distance himself from everything that's been revealed to him. But if that's the case, then his decision could have unintended consequences. Because leaving on his own, especially in the middle of rising conflict, isn't just risky, it's dangerous in ways he probably hasn't considered. He might think he's taking control of his life, but in reality, he could be walking straight into a situation that's far beyond him. And this is where the tension really builds. Because while William is out there, possibly making things worse without realizing it, the people searching for him are running out of time. Every moment matters. Every wrong turn could push him further away. And if someone else reaches him first, then the situation could shift in a very different direction. There's also something else to consider. The show has a history of changing key events from the books. And that makes this storyline even harder to predict. Just when you think you know where things are going, it takes a completely different turn. So even if there are hints or expectations, nothing is guaranteed. That uncertainty adds another layer of suspense. Because right now, William's fate feels completely open. He could be hiding, he could be captured, or he could be caught in the middle of something much bigger than himself. And the trailer seems to suggest that whatever is happening, it's going to have serious consequences. Not just for him, but for everyone connected to him. Especially Jamie. Because if something happens to William, it won't just be a tragic moment, it will be a defining one. Jamie has already lost so much, and the idea of losing his son, especially after just beginning to reconnect with him, would be devastating. That emotional weight is hanging over this entire storyline, even if it hasn't fully played out yet, and that's what makes this so compelling. It's not just about the mystery of where William is, it's about what his disappearance represents. It's about identity, family, and the consequences of choices made under pressure. And as this story continues to unfold, it feels like we're heading toward a moment that will force every character involved to confront something they've been avoiding. The only question is, will they get to William in time before that moment arrives? What really raises the stakes here is how quickly this situation could spiral into something far worse. Because the longer William stays missing, the more opportunities there are for things to go wrong. And in a world like this, it doesn't take much for a bad situation to become irreversible. The trailer gives off that exact feeling, like time is slipping away. You can sense that the search for William won't be simple or straightforward. It's not just about tracking his steps, it's about understanding his mindset. Where would he go? Who would he trust? And more importantly, what kind of trouble would he be drawn to in his current state? Because William isn't thinking clearly, and that makes him unpredictable. There's also a strong chance that multiple people are looking for him at the same time, but not all of them with the same intentions. This is where things could take a darker turn. If someone else finds William before Jamie or Lord John do, then the entire situation changes instantly. It stops being a rescue and becomes something much more dangerous. And that possibility feels very real. Especially when you consider how many tensions are already building around him. Between personal rivalries, emotional conflicts, and the larger chaos of war, William is right in the center of it all. Even if he didn't mean to be, he's become a key piece in a much bigger situation. That's why his disappearance matters so much. Because it's not just about losing track of him, it's about what his absence sets into motion. People will start making decisions based on fear, urgency, and incomplete information. And when that happens, mistakes are almost guaranteed. At the same time, this could be the moment where Jamie steps fully into the role he's been struggling with, being William's father, not just in truth, but in action. Up until now, there's been distance between them, hesitation, and a lot of unresolved tension. But a situation like this doesn't leave room for doubt. If William is in danger, Jamie won't hold back. And that could lead to some of the most intense moments we've seen this season. Because Jamie isn't the kind of person who waits for things to happen, he acts. And if he believes his son is at risk, there's no telling how far he'll go to find him. But that also creates another layer of conflict. Because what happens when Jamie and Lord John don't agree on how to handle the situation? Both of them care about William, but they approach things very differently. Jamie is more instinctive, more driven by emotion. Lord John, on the other hand, tends to think things through, to stay controlled even under pressure. In a situation this urgent, those differences could clash. And yet, they might also be exactly what's needed. Because finding William might require both approaches, emotion and strategy, instinct and patience. If they can find a way to work together, they might actually have a chance. But if they let their past tensions get in the way, then they could end up making things worse. Meanwhile, there's still the question of what's actually happening to William during all of this. The trailer keeps cutting away before giving any clear answers, which only adds to the suspense. It feels intentional, like the show is holding something back. And usually, when that happens, It means there's a reveal coming that will change how we see everything. Maybe William isn't just in danger, maybe he's already in the middle of it, and if that's true, then the rescue might not be as simple as finding him and bringing him back. It could involve confrontation, sacrifice, or even a choice that William himself has to make. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just a story about someone going missing. It's about what happens when everything finally catches up to you. Or William, that moment feels closer than ever, and the closer we get to that moment, the more it feels like this storyline is building towards something big, something that could change the direction of the entire season. Because William going missing doesn't feel like a short, contained plot, it feels like the beginning of a much larger turning point. Everything is starting to connect. His internal struggle, the tension with Jamie, the complicated bond with Lord John, the situation with Amaranthus, and even the growing conflict around them, it all leads here. This isn't random. This is the result of everything.